What's up, Brian Tong here, and some of you have the new iPhones from the new 17 lineup, so congratulations, but we've learned a lot more about them, specifically how durable they are. And I had said I would pretty much argue that the iPhone Air would be more durable than the 17 Pro, and that seems to be proving itself out in ways. So if you haven't seen JerryRigEverything's durability test, don't walk but run to check them out. I've always just loved how Zach takes an actual methodical approach to breaking down these products and not bend them just to bend them. And the biggest revelation here, not only is it pretty much impossible to bend the iPhone Air in your bare hands because it will bend but go right back to form, it takes over 210 pounds of pressure to actually break the iPhone Air. And that isn't really happening to anyone, even if you sit on your phone, unless maybe you literally have buns of steel, which I do. Now, from a scratch test perspective, the iPhone's new Ceramic Shield 2 held up well for both the Air and the new iPhone 17 Pro, which has an anodized aluminum body, but there is one big vulnerability. The anodization process here can't fully protect a sharp corner, and Apple decided that this camera plateau here has a sharp corner on this raised edge on the 17 Pros. They could have rounded it off, but they didn't, so it is vulnerable to chipping and scratching, and that will happen over time if something like coins and keys hit it. So we'll see how it fares over time, but those are the types of bumps and bruises that are pretty common. Also, the iPhone 17 Pro could not be bent in hand either, so those days look pretty long gone now. But on the actual main flat surfaces, Ceramic Shield and Ceramic Shield 2 came in clutch in his tests and offers even better protection overall. So credit to Zach for the great stuff in his videos. And hey, even Allstate wanted to get in on the action with their own test. They measured the amount of pressure to the Air and the 17 Pro with the iPhone, similar to the machine that Apple showed some of us behind the scenes. Now, Apple, in their test when they showed us, only went to 132 pounds of pressure. Allstate used 190 pounds of pressure on the Air, and it was still functional at that time. And then the 17 Pro was still functional with 200 pounds of pressure put on it as well. So just for reference, the iPhone 6, where BendGate was born, bent at 110 pounds of pressure. Both new phones still shattered when dropped face down at 6 feet, which isn't that much of a surprise. And no matter what, when your phone drops, it never drops the same, and you can never truly predict what happens. But you can protect it a whole lot better thanks to the sponsor of this video, dbrand. You know dbrand for their cases, and this is their new Ghost Case 2.0. It's for the 17 Pro and the 17 Air. I have it here on my Air, and I like that it's a clear case with this protective frame. The case itself for the Air is only 1.8 millimeters thick, so this isn't big and bulky. I'm always a fan of a clear case. What makes this unique, though, is dbrand's promise that their clear case will never yellow, unlike some of your older ones that have over time. It's also treated with an anti-scratch solution that is chemically hardened onto the device to protect against your everyday scuffs and scratches. I also like how the buttons here on the case, they're very clicky. You can hear them here. So this is the Ghost Case 2.0. And what complements this case, hey, check out their Prism 2.0 screen protector. It's an ultra premium glass protector that comes with an idiot-proof solution to install it on your own. You put it in the holder, pull the tab down here, slide your finger down the middle, and then wait for a few seconds to let it set. Then remove it by pulling back from the top, and voila! You can work out the air bubbles a little, but they'll go away, and you'll end up with a phone that is protected on the front, just like this, and then you can pop on one of their cases here. For me, this is a legit killer combo for your new iPhone 17 Pro or iPhone Air. So use my unique code, Brian Tong. Check out the link in the description of this video to get 42% off on the Prism screen protector when you bundle it with a dbrand Ghost, Tank, or Grip case. All right, let's get back to the stories, and a place where iPhones aren't protected with cases, that's at the Apple Store. It already appears some 17 Pro and Air models on display are a little more scratched up and scuffed up than others. Now, the scratches are more prominent on the darker finishes, and my friend even told me on day one that all the iPhones had a MagSafe ring mark on the back of them that showed up. That same ring showed up in this picture as well. And this seems to be happening in other stores based on the general reports and observations. So it looks like that the darker models of the iPhones, deep blue for the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, like this color here, and then space black for iPhone Air, are the models showing the most wear and tear already. So just be aware that those could be the ones that reveal more damage over time. Also, people handling these phones at the store, you are all just animals. Now, just to follow up on the Air, I got so many comments from people who had never used it at all, telling me how the battery was already so horrible. And now I think you're seeing and hearing that the battery life is solid. Now, it won't be as good as a 17 Pro or Pro Max, but based on how I use it, I can still legitimately get through a day without plugging it in at all. And if I'm ever on the road, yeah, I'm going to plug it in while using my maps on my car. So this whole narrative that the iPhone Air battery is horrible, I think was totally overblown by people who never even used it on the daily yet. You know, get past those first couple of days when you set it up, but once you get to use it regularly, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And I think in a weird way, I'm getting similar battery life to my 16 Pro from last year, which makes me wonder what was going on there. And yes, you're going to make sacrifices, and either you will be able to or you won't with the Air, but I'm personally loving the Air as my daily driver right now. And again, we all use our phones differently, so the reaction is going to be different for different people. But you know, making the assumption that it was horrible before even using it was just wrong. Now, here's another subtle thing that I noticed with the Air, that plateau that's right here. Yes, did it take more than a few cues from the Google Pixel Pro phones? Let's be real. But Apple decided to do something more clever, because that's not just the camera, right? You got the A19 Pro and the entire chipset and brains of the phone pretty much all in this plateau. There's an intentional and functional reason for Apple's design approach here that allowed this phone to be so skinny. I also like the fact that I didn't think about this until I felt it out later on. There's actually like a groove from the body of the plateau here, right? Because your fingers tend to naturally just rest right here. It's more comfortable than a hard edge, because we know every curve and groove and line is an intentional design decision by Apple. It's almost like they took also some of their learnings of the iMac with all the components that typically are in that lower area, and the rest was basically all display, and incorporated that idea into this design as well. Plus, let's just look beyond the iPhone Air here, okay? Look at the size of this plateau, all right? That is screaming to me that it could be spread out even more, and it's about the same size as something that could fit into the arm of a pair of glasses. So not only is this to me an indication for the direction that Apple's moving towards when it comes to iPhones, but it also has implications for other wearable Apple products in the future. That's just what I think. And since we're talking about the new iPhone 17 lineup, you know, a recent report and complaints from early adopters claim that they are experiencing some intermittent Wi-Fi issues with the latest models. People affected by this have said Wi-Fi connectivity periodically cuts out on the entire lineup. That's the 17, 17 Pro, 17 Pro Max, and the Air, with hundreds of comments posted on multiple forums like Apple Support, Reddit, and Mac Rumors. I even had some issues recently that I didn't realize might have been just that, where certain apps at times just didn't load randomly, and that never happened before on any other phone. When I had an active connection, it would just feel like the app was just frozen. So users say the Wi-Fi briefly disconnects and then reconnects after they unlock the iPhone, and this issue can also affect vehicles using CarPlay, since that system relies on a Wi-Fi connection. There are a lot of people trying to figure out what is exactly happening, and this sounds like something that could be and hopefully can be resolved with a software update. But at the moment, the new N1 chip that is more power efficient may be acting up and is not so reliable for some users at the moment, so we'll keep our eyes on this. But if you're experiencing something like this, hey, let us know in the comments as well. And I don't know if you saw, but Apple also released the first beta for iOS 26.1, which has some new tweaks and features to be aware of. There are new Apple Intelligence languages that have been added now. That's including Danish, Dutch, Norwegian, Portuguese, Swedish, Turkish, traditional Chinese, and Vietnamese. In addition to that, you've got new AirPods live translation languages that have also been added in the iOS 26.1 beta, including Japanese, Korean, Italian, and both Chinese for traditional Mandarin and simplified Chinese. Now, if Apple still wants to make seeing things a lot harder with the liquid glass, I feel like they found a good medium in most cases. Still, there's times where it's just too hard to read. They have done a great job with the iPhone keypad, which now uses liquid glass and is even harder to see. So let's just hope they change this, because, yeah, that's a bad Apple. Now, you can also swipe on the music player to change tracks, so just slide your finger over where the song title is listed to get to the next song or the previous song, depending on the direction you swipe. There is a new slider for scrubbing through videos in the photo app, and the navigation bar brings a more frosted look. Plus, you got the calendar app that shows a full color background line for your upcoming events, which makes things look more clear to me. I mean, I like this. It's a subtle touch, not a game changer. But those are some of the new tweaks found in the latest developer beta and a sign of things to come for iOS 26.1 when it's available to the public. All right, that's going to do it for this video. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my latest videos when they drop. And if you want more of that Apple goodness, you can check out my weekly Apple Bits XL audio podcast with the latest stories and special guests. Plus, you can support all my content with an ad-free version of the podcast, early access to my content, and exclusive content at patreon.com/Brian Tong. Now, I hope you enjoyed all the content that was pumped out on this channel for the entirety during the Apple iPhone launch. We know it's crazy. I'm legit still a little bit of a zombie from it and still recovering, but this is the peak tech season, and there's only one way to do it. It is go hard or go home. So thank you so much for watching these videos and all of those and more. It was pretty wild, but you know what? We'll see you on the next time. So take care, peace, and love.